In the last video, we saw Kim Dong-sik and his men talking about the miraculous effects of the magical cherry tomatoes and how they could be used to win over the women in their lives. Since his daughter likes the tomatoes and wants more of them, Dong-sik decides to form an expedition party and go to the tower immediately. The boys are hesitating, but the girls are already prepared to go into the tower. The magic cherry tomatoes had a great effect on their weight loss, and now they want more of them. In the tower, Theo was thinking about how many sales trips he would have to make before he got 1,000 tower coins and enabled the system to display the name of his supplier. That seemed to be the only way to avoid Sejun's fury and gain the title of the sales cat. He found the human party he met last time and learned that they had been waiting for him for the last 3 days. Seeing that they are so excited to buy cherry tomatoes, Theo decides to hike up the price by 0.02 tower coins per tomato. And to his surprise, the hunters buy all of them and even tell Theo that they will meet him the next time he comes down to this floor. But as Theo is leaving, he meets a girl from the hunter group. She says that he looks like a cat she knew. The girl named Sua even offers Theo a cat snack called Chiru to make him talk to her. Her gift works, and Theo agrees to take a picture with her in exchange for more churros. Back in the cave, Sejun is teaching the rabbits how to swim. But as he comes out of water, craving a sweet drink, he finds that his stash of honey is empty. He then realizes that he had not seen the poison honeybee since she set up her hive here. But as he looks at the hive now, he can see many small poison bees flying around it. And as Sejun goes to the hive to congratulate the bee for getting a house and children, the small bees get ready to attack him. But before the situation can turn violent, the honeybee that is friends with Sejun comes out. And now she looks like a human honeybee hybrid. This chapter starts with a description of poison honeybees. It was an insect-type carnivore monster found in the tower that hunted its prey using its poisonous sting. And that was all the tower manager knew about them. We see the tower manager, the black dragon, as he nervously reads a book titled Ultimate Handbook for Tower Manager. He is concerned with the situation, but there is nothing in the handbook that can help him do his job more efficiently. There was no explanation for the situation in which a poison honeybee evolved. But since it did not look dangerous, the manager decided to just keep an eye on the situation for now. He would ask for the details about poison honeybees and what to do with them from his grandfather later. And as the dragon looks into the magic crystal, showing Sejun with the honeybee, he thinks that he already has a solution if this situation turns into a problem. Meanwhile, the story in the cave starts where it ended in the last chapter. Sejun and the black warrior rabbit are stunned to see the honeybee, which now looks more like a humanoid monster. Sejun asks her if she is the cute little poison honeybee, and the bee cheerfully smiles as she affirms. Sejun cannot believe it, despite the bee's confirmation. He says that her looks have changed a lot, and the bee blushes as she thinks that Sejun is flirting with her. Then we learn how the cute little bee turned out like this. After the day she first drank nectar from Sejun's cave, the bee suddenly felt changes in her body. Every time she ate that nectar, those changes became more prominent. Her body emitted a strong scent that did not sit well with other bees, and she also gained a lot of weight. Ultimately, even the queen of her colony noticed her and got wary of her. The bee soon realized why everyone was on edge around her and why the queen was wary of her. The reason was that she had become capable of laying eggs. Although it was a surprise for her, the little bee decided to take this chance and become independent. She left her previous hive and made a hive inside Sejun's cave because that was the safest place she could think of. Once inside her new hive, the bee silently suffered from the pain of transformation. And after several rounds of transformations, she finally attained the human-like form of a queen bee. She herself was shocked at how she looked after the final transformation. Now, back to the present, Sejun congratulates the bee for becoming a queen. He says that even though the timing is a bit awkward, he has brought a gift for her. And as Sejun hands her the tomato flower bouquet, the queen bee is touched. She is so happy that she hugs Sejun and starts rubbing her cheeks with his, as was her habit. Seeing that their mother was so friendly with the human, the baby bees also decided to follow her lead. They cling to him and start cuddling with him. Sejun is initially overwhelmed but quickly adapts to the change. The baby honeybees are now friendly with the rabbits too. And as the queen bee does not leave Sejun, he says that he likes her too. A few days have passed since that incident, and it is the day of the blue moon again. But it seems to have already passed when the rabbits wake Sejun up. He is still sleepy as he asks them what's the matter. He thought that he could sleep peacefully during this blood moon. But the excited rabbits are leading him towards the farms. There, the father rabbit points towards a plant, and Sejun finds that it was a carrot, blessed with the power of the blue moon. Sejun is surprised when he sees the carrot with the energy of the blue moon. He had not expected this to happen, as the carrots were still quite small. but he thinks that it's great that he can harvest it so early now. And seeing the rabbits excitedly gathered around the special carrot, Sejun realizes that this is the reason why they disturbed his sleep and rushed him. Sejun decides to harvest the carrot and pulls it out, with the rabbits going crazy with excitement. The carrot was of a decent size, and as Sejun reads its information window, he finds that it was an agility carrot. Since it was blessed by the blue moon, the agility carrot could boost the agility stats of the consumer by 0.05 permanently. Its rank was E+, and Sejun got 70 experience points for harvesting it. His proficiency with his level 2 skill, Harvest, also increased greatly. Sejun thinks that since it was an E+ ranked crop, he got more experience than ordinary crops, and he thinks that by harvesting more high-quality crops like this, he will get 70 experience points instead of 50. And then Sejun decides to do the right thing. He says that he has no claim on the carrot and gives it to the rabbits, who are happy to receive it. Sejun thanks them for their hard work and asks them to keep helping him in the future. The rabbit family is excited to try out a rare version of their favorite delicacy. And then the sickle rabbit volunteers to cut the carrot into equal parts. Her father tosses the carrot up, and she accurately cuts it into 7 equal parts. Everyone gets one piece, and Sejun compliments the sickle rabbit's skill. She is also proud of what she just did, and her siblings clap for her. But there is one rabbit who is not happy. The black rabbit feels like he has the smallest part of the carrot. Then, Sejun harvests the cherry tomatoes blessed with the energy of the blue moon. This time, there were 5 such tomatoes. Sejun remembers that the tower manager had given him a quest to offer a blue cherry tomato, and this was the right time to fulfill that quest. The quest is completed as the manager accepts the tomato and thanks Sejun for it. Sejun says that if he was really thankful, he should give him a skill as a reward. The tower manager replies that he will think about it and give it to him in a little while. But Sejun asks the tower manager what he meant by thinking about it. But then suddenly, Sejun is disturbed by Theo's loud screams. Sejun is excited to meet the cat merchant, but he turns back to find him in trouble. Theo was surrounded by the baby poison bees, who thought of him as an intruder. They are murderous, and Theo is terrified. He asks Sejun to tell the poison bees to not attack him. Sejun thinks that Theo was not here when the poison honeybees were born, and that is why they did not know him. And as Sejun sees the typical reaction a threatened cat would show, he wonders if the bees thought of him as a threat. To clear up the confusion, Sejun picks up Theo and starts rubbing cheeks with him. He tells the bees that Theo was not an enemy, he was family. But doing that came at a price. Sejun sneezed because of Theo's fur. The baby honeybees have also accepted Theo as a friend, and they peacefully disperse. Theo thanks Sejun for saving him and calls him brother, and Sejun pulls his cheek in response, asking why he was suddenly addressing him as brother. He was just an employee, and he should not dare talk like that to his employer. They were not on the same level. Theo replies that Sejun said that they were family, but he apologizes for getting ahead of himself and also because his cheek hurts now. Sejun leaves him and then gets to business. He asks employee Theo to show him the money from the sale of cherry tomatoes so that they can get down to calculation. Theo hands him a pouch full of tower coins, and Sejun is pleased to find that it contains 75 tower coins, the full price for the 15 cherry tomatoes Theo took to sell. Sejun compliments the cat merchant for working hard, and Theo has another surprise for him. He excitedly shows Sejun another bag full of tower coins. The humans had been waiting to buy cherry tomatoes from him for some time, so he thought it was fine to increase the price. Theo increased the price by 0.02 tower coins, and they still bought the tomatoes. As Sejun checks the contents of the bag, Theo asks him if he was surprised by his performance. He knows that he did well and now wants back the position of the sales cat. But as Sejun hands him his incentive, he calls the cat employee Theo again, making him sad. Theo says that Sejun should give him another title. He had done well, so why could he not become the salesman? But Sejun tells him that he is still unqualified for that position. He tells Theo that he would have to work much harder. Theo is disheartened, and the black warrior rabbit consoles him as he rants about how hard it was to become a sales cat. But Sejun is smiling to himself because he already knew that Theo sold the tomatoes at a higher price. And that was thanks to the tower manager. The tower manager had sent a message to Sejun. It was spying on Theo and informed him that the cat merchant was making more money per piece of cherry tomato. And Sejun smirks, thinking that he should give the tower manager one more blue moon fruit for such valuable intel. But then he hears slurping sounds and turns to find Theo snacking. He looks extremely happy and satisfied, and Sejun is curious. He asks him what he's eating. Theo replies that it was called a chiru. Sejun is surprised and asks Theo where he got a chiru from. Meanwhile, a rabbit has also taken a liking to the cat snack. Theo tells Sejun that he got the bag full of churros from a human in exchange for taking a photo with her. He explains to Sejun about the different flavors, and his personal favorite was the salmon one. Sejun is shocked as he thinks about what Theo said. A human gave those snacks to him. There were only 2 ways to get things from outside the tower. The first was vanishing, the method using which Sejun entered the tower. The newcomers who enter the tower this way bring whatever they are carrying with them inside. Originally, they were summoned to the first floor, so the items they bring are mostly used for trade that helps them climb up the tower. The second way to bring things inside was when an awakened hunter brought something in. It was said that only 1 kilogram of outside material could be brought inside the tower. But there were no restrictions on how much stuff one could take while leaving the tower. Usually, the hunters brought along simple and necessary things like a hunter's smartphone, also called a hunter phone. It was a device that could charge using solar power, the most common natural resource in the tower, where it was always sunny. It only had some basic features, but it was a reliable item and a must-have for all hunters. Then there were things like general supplies, cigarettes, and instant foods that could be eaten while the hunters were climbing the tower. And that made bringing something unnecessary like cat snacks seem like a luxury. As Sejun thinks that a hunter brought it just to meet a cat, he gets an idea. As he gives off a wicked and twisted smile, he thinks that he is a genius. A new business idea had just crossed his mind. And as Theo looks at Sejun, smiling maniacally to himself, he does not have a good sense of foreboding. But still, he politely offers Sejun a packet of churu in case that is what he wants. With this, the chapter ends. This was full of some new surprises, like the evolution of the honeybee or how our dragon tower manager is not all-powerful and all-knowing. But what do you think will happen next? What is Sejun thinking about now? Tell us your opinions in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and also subscribe to our channel for more such videos.